All right, joining me now, Ali Farokhmanesh, who now is an assistant with Colorado State, but back in 2010, he had a three-pointer with 34 seconds left for Northern Iowa to knock off Kansas. 14 years since then. What do you remember most?
I think the points per game keep going up for me as it gets further away now. So like
Yes.
I tell everybody I had 30 that game now. But man, I still love thinking about it. It brings me back to reminding me of my teammates and the feelings and the road trips and all those special moments. That always comes back to me when I think about that game. But obviously the thrill of winning that game, being in that moment, and honestly, it was a road game. Like it was in Oklahoma City, so it was very pro Kansas. But then the classic thing happens when that does in March Madness. Once the underdog starts winning, or it starts looking like there's a possibility of it, every other fan base jumps on the bandwagon. And all those emotions combined into one, that's what I'll always remember.
When you saw the bracket, what gave you hope that you guys could pull off the upset?
Man, none right away. uh, watching you're watching Kansas all season long, and I think they had two losses that year, and 2 years before that they won the national championship, and a lot of those guys were young on that national championship team. So no, there was not a ton of hope going into that bracket. I was not excited about it. I still remember to this day, me and my roommate Adam Cook, who was on the team with me, and was the actual Missouri Valley Player of the Year. I remember us looking at each other like this is going to be how our season ends. We got to play the number one team. First, we got to play UNLV, and then we get rewarded with playing Kansas if we survive that game. So no, it was not a whole lot of excitement when the bracket came out.
What was the key to ensuring that you actually close it out, even in the final 30 seconds?
You got to be aggressive. You can't sit back and let it happen. And I think that culminated in that whole moment. We hadn't crossed half court in the last probably 3 minutes. We turned the ball over like crazy. Um, and so when it hit my hands in that last 30 seconds, I think that mentality, it wasn't like I thought, hey, the aggressor wins, but that mentality that was instilled in me with Coach Jake and the way we played and how we thought of ourselves and approached games, that was that moment. And the aggressor wins. So I didn't think twice about not shooting it.
What's it like to know that you busted brackets everywhere?
It's awesome. It's really cool to hear the stories. I think listening to everybody, usually at some point when somebody tells me about that game or talks about what it meant to them or how they felt when it happened, it culminates in some story of what they were doing and where they were. And to be a part of that and to know that people, it brings them back memories, I think that's what's special and that's what makes March Madness special. I still remember doing like someone asked me, March Madness, what's the one word you think of or one person? And I went straight to Bryce Drew. And I think that's the names and those moments, that's what makes it special.
How did it change you and the campus?
Man. Well, here's a good story for you, Andy. So like when I'm in class. I got a finance class on Monday nights or Monday or Tuesday nights. I can't remember, but I'm in the class and I sit kind of second, third row, and there's these guys that sit in the first row. The first probably month of school, like I'm not talking to them, they don't talk to me. I show up, I'm wearing Northern Iowa stuff to every class. They don't say anything to me. Then we're about to play Southern Illinois, I think, on ESPN2. And we had just gotten ranked or right outside rankings, and it was a big game. And these guys are talking in front of me, and they go, they go, yeah, I'm going to the game. It's gonna be great, blah, blah, blah. And they turn back to me and they say, hey, are you going to the game? Meanwhile, I'm wearing all Northern Iowa stuff. Like they must think I just love Northern Iowa basketball because I wear it every day. And they go, are you going to go to the game? I'm like, yeah, I think I'll be there. I think I'm going to show up. And whatever. I play the game the next night. And then after the tournament in Kansas and whatnot, I'm going through the hallways of my business school after my 8 a.m. class and found out I was going to be on cover of Sports Illustrated in my 8 a.m. class. And I got people walking up to me, getting on their knees, bowing down, and like I can't move without somebody grabbing me, somebody talking to me, somebody wanting to take a picture. And so from 2 months before, I'm in a class with these people that I've been in with for a month and a half already that asked me if I'm going to the game, to all of a sudden people are bowing down to me in the hallways. It was a little bit of a 180, I'd say, between the two.
Last thing, when you look at the bracket now and you see a high seed, a one or two or three seed, what stands out to you as to why you potentially could pick against them and pick a team like Northern Iowa.
I think it's just opportunity. And I think the teams that look at it like it's an opportunity as opposed to a daunting task or impossible or however you want to look at it in a negative way. Coach Jake said it was an opportunity, and I think that's the way you have to look at it. It's an opportunity, and I was now looking back on it like, shoot, I was blessed. Had we been a 4 seed and we were playing a 5 seed, you don't look at it the same. And between we were an 8 seed and or nine, I can't remember, 8 or 9, and to have the opportunity to play Kansas in the next round, like that's what makes history. And I think when you get those opportunities, you got to take the most of it. And as an underdog, that's the way you got to look at it. And you got to come out guns a-blazing, and that's the only chance you have to win those games.
Awesome. Thanks, Ali.
No, thanks, Andy.